Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss Jumanji The Next Level, starring Dwayne Johnson, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, Ashley Scott, Awkwafina, Danny Glover, and Danny DeVito, and directed by Jake Kasdan. Let's just get right into this, because I'm curious about how the game was put back together after the fact that it was destroyed in the last movie. Let's get into it. It's been a year after the events of the previous film, and friends Spencer, Anthony aka Fridge, Martha, and Bethany have graduated high school and gone their separate ways. Bethany is traveling the world and performing community service. Martha has become a popular girl in college, and Fridge has been working out extensively to celebrate the holidays. They arrange a reunion at Nora's Diner in Brantford, New Hampshire. And I'm really liking these characters back in this movie for briefly what they did last time. And here, I'm having a good time. Meanwhile, Spencer has encountered a rough, pathetic patch in his life while attending a college in New York. Unhappy with his lowly supermarket job, he has also put his long-distance relationship with Martha on hold. When he returns home, he finds his maternal grandfather, Eddie, played by Danny DeVito, sharing his room while he recovers his hip surgery. That night, Spencer and Eddie discuss their problems. Eddie tells his grandson that college is the best time of one's life, and that things are destined to go downhill as one grows older. And I like Danny DeVito in this movie, and in general, I think he was the best thing about Dumbo earlier this year, in my opinion, and he's great to see in this movie. Despairing that his life is ever going to improve, Spencer decides to redone the persona of Dr. Smolder Bravestone, returned by Dwayne Johnson, within the Jumanji video game, retrieving the broken pieces of the game, which he had secretly kept. He repairs it to a barely working condition and reactivates it, and I thought that's it? Is that why the game is back? And the fact that Spencer wanted it again is baffling, and it makes no sense. So that's what it happens? Strange. The next morning, Spencer's three friends are baffled when he fails to show up for their scheduled reunion and visit his house looking for him. There they meet Eddie and his estranged friend Milo Walker, played by Danny Glover, learning that the two men were once joint owners of Nora's and had fallen out after Milo chased to retire. While searching for Spencer, the threesome hears the dreaded drum beats of Jumanji and discovers the game running in his basement. Reluctantly, they all decide to re-enter the game in order to rescue him, and I felt bad for Danny Glover as he's not in this movie very much. And I like him as an actor, but he got the short shaft in this movie. Upon entering the game, Martha and Fridge are shocked to find that things are different from their last adventure. While Martha has become Ruby Roundhouse, returned by Karen Gillan once more, Fridge now occupies the body of Professor Shelley Oberon, returned by Jack Black. Further complicating matters, the damaged game as an adventure advertently sucked Eddie and Milo too, transferring them into Bravestone and Franklin Mouse Finbar, returned by Kevin Hart, respectively. Bethany is nowhere to be seen. I always find Jack Black to be really funny, and I like Kevin Hart better here than as being portrayed by Milo. And I'm still waiting up on a Ruby Roundhouse solo movie. NPC guide Nigel Billingsley arrives and gives the players their new mission. Evil Conqueror Jurgen, the murderer of Bravestone's parents, has stolen a gem known as the Falcon Jewel, which guarantees how harvest the four adventurers must reacquire the jewel and show it to the sun, calling it out Jumanji's name to win. And I like how simple this plot is as we walk into something fun as the first film. After Nigel drops the players in a desert, they are attacked by a herd of ostriches, surprisingly there, barely making an escape in an abandoned buggy, It quickly becomes apparent that Eddie's stubborn impulsiveness and Milo's penchant for making long-winded explanations is endangering the group. At a place known as the Oasis, the team runs into Spencer, who is now a female cat burglar named Ming Fleetfoot, played by Aquafina. Following the clues given to them, Fridge and Martha obtain a desert fruit called the Jumanji berry, while discovering a pool of green glowing water which allows them to exchange avatars. And the chase between our heroes and ostriches was fun, and I was tired of Eddie and Milo arguing like cats and dogs, and I like the character Aquafina plays in this movie. As Spencer and Milo search for camels for the group to ride, Eddie gets into a brawl with dozens of strangers, which I thought was really funny to me. The battle draws the attention of Switchblade, a mercenary who is Bravestone's sole weakness. Using a rocket launcher, Switchblade kills all the players with a single shot, costing each one of them a life. Riding the camels to their next destination, the team is slowed down like the movie does, with Eddie and Milo argue about the latter's choice to retire from the restaurant business, and a decision which angered the workaholic Eddie, which really wasn't a good time to do that. The fight ends with Eddie crashing Milo beneath a rock. Eventually, the group arrives at the next level, a series of moving rope bridges spanning a canyon. It is not long before they encounter a horde of angry mandrills, which hound the players and attempt to hurl them off the bridges. Although Fridge is able to guide the team across using his avatar's geometry skills, they are ultimately surrounded on the other side of the vicious primates, which was fun and a little too scary for kids under the age of 6. At the last moment, they're rescued by Alex Vreek, returned by Colin Hanks, and when Bethany had recruited after being left behind, playing as Jefferson Seaplane McDonough, played by Nick Jonas once more. Alex reveals that Bethany's new avatar is a black horse named Cyclone, and that the two of them had brought along winter gear of the others to wear. And I did find it hilarious that Bethany has gone from pretty girl to horse for a little bit of the movie. Eddie and Milo reconcile, with the later explaining that he was terminally ill and wish to make amends with Eddie before heading, which is a sad story for this character. As the group prepares to confront Jurgen as his mountain fortress, Fridge tells everyone that mismatched avatars have been major liability up to this point. Upon finding a river flowing with the mysterious glowing water, they are able to restore Spencer, Fridge, Bethany, and the original avatars, and Eddie and Milo becoming Ming and Cyclone, respectively. I think that Welcome to the Jungle was playing in the background. I like that moment. It works great to me. Unfortunately, the two old men are captured by Jurgen's men shortly afterwards, leaving the original team of 5 rescuing them, infiltrating the mountain fortress. Alex loses 2 of his lives trying to rescue Milo, while Fridge and Bethany pose as a pair to a famous brother Jurgen is expecting. Meanwhile, Spencer and Martha rekindle their relationship while finding and freeing Eddie. And I'm finding all of this very fun, but a little bit frustrating as far as I'm concerned. Inside the fortress, Martha battles Jurgen's goons to music, while Spencer pushes fleeing Jurgen, confronting the Conqueror aboard his Zeppelin. Spencer deduces that the Jumanji berry is Jurgen's weakness, using it to subdue and defeat the villain. Below, Cyclone is revealed to be a flying horse, which leads to Milo carrying Eddie to meet Spencer in midair. Spencer tosses the Falcon jewel to his grandfather to point the gem at the sun, instructed by Nigel. And their mission accomplished, the whole team cries out Jumanji, ending the game. All this was fun, but not as fun as last time. Nigel arrives to send the players home, but Milo expresses his wish to stay in the game. Eddie bids him farewell, understanding his mountains and thanking him for their friendship. Spencer, in turn, thanks his friends for coming for him, whereupon Fridge tells him to do it again, not to do it again. Everyone returns safely to Spencer's basement. Eddie changes his mind about growing old, saying to Spencer that it's in fact a gift. That's a great message for people in college and growing up in general. Spencer and Eddie finally go to Nora's, where it's revealed that the diner's current owner is actually Nora Shepherd, the aunt of Judy and Peter, and an old friend of Eddie's. And who's Judy and Peter's Shepherd? From the first movie, with Robin Williams, I must say. Using the lessons he learned as Bravestone, Eddie begins to flirt with her, smoldering intensely as he does so. In a mid-credit scene, Spencer's mother calls in a repairman to fix the basement heater, who stumbles across the game and its console. Back at Nora's, a herd of ostriches are stampedes post the diner, shocking Spencer and his friends, which is a great way to set up for a sequel. We'll see if it's worth it. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 8.0 out of 10. The movie was fun, but not as fun as last time. I enjoyed the characters and their avatars, and I enjoyed the new characters. But what made it not as good as last time was the plot kind of slowed down and it got frustrating at times. But otherwise, this is a fun ride and great time at the movies. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for Jumanji, and until we get another one, Jumanji.